morning students. In this video, I shall discuss some important terminology related to the chapter transport, either transport in plants and animal. Now, the first and most important terminology, that is your transport. What is transport? To carry the essential substances from one part to the another part of an organism, either it is plant or animal. The substances are normally transported from one part to another, and that process is called transport, and it is a life process. It is a biological process which occurs in the body of the animals and plants. Now, next one, the xylem. Now, the xylem is a complex permanent tissue which is dense in nature, and it is present in the plant, which transport the water and the dissolved minerals to the different part of the plant. So these tissue are called the xylem tissue. They are normally complex tissue. And next one, that is the phloem. Then what is a phloem? The living cells. Normally they are living in nature and they are complex because made up of many type of cells. Then they are permanent in nature. They have lost their power of division and redivision, and they normally transport the prepared food from leaf, because the food is prepared in the leaf, and from the leaf to all parts of the body of plants. That is called the phloem tissue. Now, what is absorption of water? Normally, the water which is present in the soil. From the soil, the water is taken by the plant. So that is why the process of intake of water by the roots of the plants from the soil. Normally, from soil, it is called the absorption of water. And by the process of normal diffusion, normally they move from soil to the water root, because in the soil the water concentration is more in comparison to the root. Now, ascent of sap. The sap is normally called the fluid which is present inside the cell. This is called the cell fluid or cellular fluid. And the movement or transport of these substances, or transport of the particularly the water and minerals from root to all parts of the plant. From root, because in case of plant they are normally absorbed by the root. From the root they are moving off to the different parts of the plant. Like it may be your leaf, or it may be your flower, or it may be your fruit. So it is moved in this direction. So movement of water in the upward direction to all parts of the plant through the xylem. The xylem are the complex permanent tissue which form the tube, and through this tube normally the water goes up against the gravity. So this is called the ascent of sap, and it is one of the most important phenomenon by which water goes up to the different parts of the plant around 200-300 feet. And the transpiration pool, it is the main force behind the ascent of sap or movement of cellular fluid from root to the different parts of the plant against the gravitational pull. Now, the next one, that is the translocation. This translocation is another important process which occurs in the plant. That is the transport of prepared food material from the leaf to all parts of the plant through the phloem tissue. And this terminology is used for this particular movement of food. So this is called translocation. So that is why this translocation word is specially used for this transport of prepared food material from the leaf to the all parts of the plant. Now the next important terminology for the animal system, that is called blood. Now what is blood? Where it is present and what is its important function? Now, the blood is a red colored fluid. Why it is red? Because it contains the hemoglobin pigment, and this hemoglobin pigment which makes the blood red. And it is a connective tissue because blood is a tissue. It consists of number of cells, that may be RBC, WBC, platelets, etc., and which normally circulates throughout the body. And during the circulation of the blood, normally it transports the different substances from one part to another, which we shall discuss later on. Now, what are blood vessels? The tube-like structure. These are the tube-like structure which transport the blood from one part to the another or throughout the body of the higher animals, including human beings. And these are called the blood vessels. The blood vessels may be your arteries, which carries the blood from the heart to all parts of the body. Then the veins, which collect the blood from all parts of the body and they pour the blood to the heart. And lastly, the capillary, which connects the arteries and veins and normally help in the circulation of the blood throughout the body. So these are called the blood vessels. Now, heart. This is the most important organ or the vital organ of our body. Normally, the beating of the heart is very much important for the circulation of the blood throughout the body. Now, what is heart and what is its structure, shape, size? Now, normally, the heart is a triangular. It is the shape of the heart is more or less triangular in nature. So, this is the shape of the heart. So, that is why this is called triangular. And next, it is a muscular organ. That means it consists of the powerful muscles called the cardiac muscles. And normally they are present in the left side of the chest cavity or the thoracic cavity. Suppose this is the human body, and human body, it is the left side, this is the left side, and this is the right side. So just in the upper part of the thoracic cavity, here the heart is present. So that is the position of the heart inside the thoracic cavity or the chest cavity. Now, it pumps the blood around our body, and this heart helps in the circulation of the blood throughout the body. So that is why this heart is the most important organ or vital organ, and it beats normally 72 times per minute, and it is a rhythmic process. The contraction and relaxation occurs continuously, and the blood circulates throughout the body, and it transports the different material from one part to another part of the body. We shall study in detail about the structure of the heart later on. Next, the arteries. Then what are arteries? The arteries are normally, these are the blood vessels and which carry the oxygenated blood from heart to all parts of the body. So these arteries, which normally carry the oxygenated blood, and they are thick walled. They are thick walled, and normally they are deep rooted. They are present deep inside the muscles. That is why they are deep rooted, and they flow. The blood flows with high pressure. The blood flows with high pressure. So these are called the arteries. Now next, another important blood vessels which are present in the human body particularly are called the veins. Then what are veins? Now the veins are the blood vessels which carry the deoxygenated blood. The arteries, they carry the oxygenated blood, whereas the veins, they carry the deoxygenated blood. Then from where? From all body parts. From all body parts to the heart. So they normally transport the blood from all body parts to the heart, and normally they are thin walled. The wall of the artery are thin, that is the lumen is larger, and they are superficial. That means they are present just below the skin, and the blood flow with low pressure. The blood flow with low pressure, and as the blood moves from downward to upward to the heart, so that is why the valves are present here in the veins to prevent the backward flow. To prevent backward flow. Prevent backflow of blood. So these are the veins. Now the next, what is double circulation? The circulation in case of human being is called double circulation. Why it is called double circulation? Because the blood travels twice through the heart. It enters the heart twice and leaves the heart twice. So that is why it is called double circulation. Because when in one complete cycle occurs in the human being, it normally travels twice the heart, or it is called double circulation. Now, what is the cardiac cycle? That means the cycle or the circulation of the blood. Once or one complete circulation of the blood through the heart and the body is called one cardiac cycle. So in one cycle, the blood completely circulates throughout the body. Now, during this process, it enters the heart twice, once in the right auricle of the heart and another in the left auricle of the heart, because from the right ventricle goes to the lungs, from the lungs again return back. So that is why it is called one complete circulation. And this one complete circulation, it is called one cardiac cycle. And this cardiac cycle occurs in the heart, and we shall discuss in detail later on. Now next, what is the pulmonary circulation? Normally, the circulation of the blood which normally occurs through the lungs. Why the blood goes to the lungs? Because the exchange of the gases, for example, the carbon dioxide and oxygen. Normally, the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen occurs. Normally, in case of lungs, what happens? The oxygen, it enters into the blood circulation, and carbon dioxide normally leaves the blood. So here, the blood when reaches to the lungs, the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs. Now the deoxygenated blood is normally converted into the oxygenated blood. It is converted into oxygenated blood. That means the oxygenation occurs here. So that is why this circulation is very much important, because the circulation of deoxygenated blood, because the blood which is going to the lungs, it is deoxygenated. But when it is coming from the lungs, now the oxygenation occurs, it going from the right ventricle of the heart to the lungs. Because in the lungs the oxygenation occurs, and after the oxygenation, the oxygenated blood is normally transported from the lungs to the heart, or it is the left auricle of the heart. So that is called, it is called the pulmonary circulation, and this pulmonary word directly related to the lungs. So this circulation, it is the first circulation, and the most important significance of this circulation is the oxygenation of the blood and removal of carbon dioxide from the blood. Now, next important circulation, that is called systemic circulation. And this systemic circulation, which normally occurs here in the heart, and here what happens? The circulation of oxygenated blood. The oxygenated blood, which actually returned from the lungs to the left auricle of the heart. Now, this oxygenated blood passes to the left ventricle, and from the left ventricle, normally it travels to all parts of the body. And how it is traveled or how it is transported? It is transported through the deoxygenated blood. It is normally the oxygenated blood is transported from the left ventricle to the all parts of the body, and when it reaches to each and every part, normally they are reached to the cell, and inside the cell the carbon dioxide is more here. So this carbon dioxide enters into the blood and the oxygen enters into the cell. So that is the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen occurs here, and after that the blood is now converted into deoxygenated. Now the oxygenated blood, it normally releases the oxygenated blood, it normally gives the oxygen to the cell and take the carbon dioxide. So now the blood becomes deoxygenated, and this deoxygenated blood is now passes from all body parts to the heart. So this circulation is called systemic circulation because it travels to the systemic aorta. So that is why we shall discuss in detail about this circulation later on. So this is called systemic circulation. Now the pulmonary and systemic circulation, these two circulation combinedly form the total cardiac cycle, and this is called your double circulation. That is why the circulation of the blood inside the human being, it is called double circulation. Now another system which is called lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is different from the blood vascular system or circulatory system. Here what happens, the important fluid, that is the lymph is a pale yellow or light yellow color fluid, and this fluid normally contains the blood cells. This is called lymphocytes. The lymphocytes are there, and this lymph or the body fluid which normally transported to the blood circulation and enters through the subclavian vein. Now the lymphatic system also includes the lymph vessels like your blood vessels. These lymph vessels transport the lymph from the lower parts of the body to the blood. And there are some small vessels called the lymph capillaries and the lymph nodes. The lymph nodes are there. So these are the important terminologies which are commonly used in this chapter. Now, this much for the day. I hope this video is beneficial for you. If it is really beneficial for you, then please like it and subscribe for further videos. Thank you. Thank you very much.